absolutely fantastic that I have with me R Madhavan, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. Madhavan, thank you so much for doing this. Now, I'll get down to all that rocket science, but I really want to turn your attention to this latest post that you've put out on social media, talking about these Norwegian lads who are performing to one of your film's numbers. And you said that had you been doing that while you had the chance, you would have been the superstar. But, you post a, selfie, and without even moving a muscle, it breaks the internet. So I beg to differ. It's rocket science for me. How are you not calling yourself a superstar?
You're very kind, but the truth of the matter is I put that selfie up 7 years ago, and that happened then. Since then, it has not happened because my wife has decided that I should act age appropriate. So I haven't put up any more of those selfies. Even if I do, I don't think I'll get that sort of a response, because I think, like I was saying earlier, my soul has grayed. I'm already 52, so I'm flattered, but I don't think I have the same charm left.
Well, I beg to differ. I'll say that again. But how was it being on the world's largest billboard?
Oh. So when I started this film, it was supposed to be a cheap man's, it was supposed to be a poor man's James Bond film about a good-looking ISRO scientist who had an affair with a Maldivian woman, arrested and accused of espionage, and he was released and proven innocent. So it wasn't supposed to be all this. It wasn't supposed to have a Shah Rukh Khan or a Suriya or go to premiere as a world premiere at Cannes or to be seen on Times Square. But I'm just looking at it baffled as much as the rest of the team is, and we're just hoping for the best, because this film has taken a lot from us in terms of our passion and involvement, and we're very proud of what has come out.
क्या कहती हो? ऐसा ऑफर ले ले?
फिर से हमारे काबिल दिमाग छीनना चाहते हैं।
क्योंकि मेरे सामने जो देख रहा हूँ, उसे देखकर मेरा खून खोल रहा है। नंबी नारायणन, प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर ऑफ क्रायोजेनिक, प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर ऑफ सेकंड स्टेज, प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर ऑफ फोर्थ स्टेज, एसोसिएट प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर PSLV.
The fact that you decided to direct it, did it happen by chance? Were you pushed into it, or were you really looking forward to doing it?
So the correction is, I did not want to direct it. I was pushed into it. It was, I had no choice. So I started doing this movie because it was about a rocket scientist. When I met him, I realized there was more to it than I could have ever imagined. But even he was not talking about it. He was saying, he was so angry. This is despite being, vindicated and proven innocent. But he said, how can they make this accusation? How can this happen? And he was angry and he was upset. He had tears in his eyes. And I was saying, Nambi sir, but they've already been vindicated. He said, yeah, maybe, but go to the Google and put my name, and it says ISRO spy case. My whole family has to live with the fact that I'm a spy. And that's not right. And I agreed with him. And we did this. I did the script for 7 months. And when I went back to him, he was happy with the case, because that film was all about the case. And he said, but this part is wrong, because you know what? I was in Princeton studying the instability theorem with Professor Crocco. And I heard Professor Crocco's name and I shivered. And I said, how do you know Professor Luigi Crocco, who's considered to be the father of the moon missions and a very renowned scientist from NASA? And he says, what do you mean no? I did my thesis under him for 10 months. I said, yeah, when were you planning to tell me this? I'm making a story on your life, and you're casually mentioning that you were the first Ivy League scientist to go from India. And then he started talking about Princeton, about France, about Scotland, about going to USSR when it was breaking down and getting engines from there into India, the cryogenic engines, and his baffling story. And I said, Nambi sir, why would you not think about talking or telling me this before? I wasted 7 months telling a stupid story. He said, why would I talk about it? What is there to talk about? They paid me a salary, I did my job. And that's the day I realized that there are two different types of patriots in this country. One that go out on a blazing fire, saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and their sacrifices are utmost, and hats off to them and full respect to them, and they deserve all the recognition we give them and stories we write about them. And there are yet others, knowing that they're putting their life online every day, but they will never be recognized, sung about, or acknowledged, or have a bust in the corner, and yet they will do their job with a missionary zeal, irrespective of whether their family gets ruined, or their life gets ruined, or they're dead. And Nambi Narayanan was one of them. And then I realized that I had to tell the story. I was hooked. I just knew I had no choice. I just had to give it everything.
Is this why you're also calling this film a service to the nation also, in a sense?
Well, it is our service to the nation. You can decide whether I made a commercial film or whether it has a dubious intent, because, everybody makes a film to make money. But I will tell you that if I had to make money, then I wouldn't be making a film like that. I wouldn't put my money where my mouth is in a film where there's no dancing, no songs, where I'm not either playing a Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein or a Three Idiots or commercial lines. But we have, me and my funders and my producers were together. We really believed in Nambi Narayan's story, and we made this film far more expensive than my market will allow. So there you go.
We need to use these rockets to launch satellites commercially. What they're asking for is impossible. In the years to come, every nation will be vying for this trillion-dollar market.
This is NASA, Mr. Nambi. The most coveted playing ground for any scientist worth his salt. I trust you understand what an honor this is.
Tell me something, when you actually gotten hooked to this particular story, he wasn't exonerated, so to speak, or was he at that time?
He was exonerated, but the rest of the goodies,
The Padma Bhushan.
the Padma Bhushan and the compensations, they had not come, and his recognition had not been complete. So when I started this in 2016, it was a pipe dream, and by the time it was 2019, he had been given the Padma Bhushan. So my script had to be tweaked every so often. But I'm very glad that we managed to see it in this lifetime for him.
Did it weigh you down when you were acting because you were also directing it, or you could manage to switch on and switch off?
So I wrote the story because I understood the technology that Dr. Nambi Narayanan was doing. I'm electronically inclined and I'm an engineer at heart. So I could understand what went into building a liquid fuel engine and why. So you're from the media, and forgive me for doing this to you, but I'm going to ask you. He was given the Padma Bhushan. Do you know why?
Actually not. I did not. I knew this was coming, but actually not.
And that is the reason we made the film. It's there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that we've become a nation like that, and we need to pull our head out of that hole now. Dr. Nambi Narayanan is a father of a liquid fuel engine called the Vikas engine, an engine that has been, from the time that has been introduced in ISRO till now, over 70 such missions, which has never failed. It's a record, and it is these engines that are used in every mission of ISRO, from Mangalyaan to Chandrayaan, and there is no mission in ISRO without a Vikas engine. It's a second stage booster, and we don't know anything about it. He's made this engine. He's named it after his mentor Vikram A. Sarabhai, and that's why he was given the Padma Bhushan. Now I have to tell you this, and I'm very passionate about it, right? When America makes a film about Apollo 13 or Steve Jobs or the first man, and and you start believing that Americans are capable of achieving all this because they're superheroes, they do all these things. But we have equal number of superheroes who've done that under much lesser budgets, and we don't make movies about them. We make movies about our independence struggle or the Mughal, freedom struggle with the fight against the Mughals, and that is all true. It's great. But there's another aspect of India that needs to be sung about and acknowledged, and to maintain the intellectual capital that India so badly needs. And it's the story of these engineers, about India so good with IT, with engineering, with science, and with medical science as well as space engineering. And we're doing all this, and we have the best ability to launch rockets from space. And I promise you that you and I will be, much more involved with space in 10 years than you ever imagined today, because it is the final frontier. We have to go there. Plans are being made to mine moon and populate Mars, and it's a reality. And India is the best country to do that. And that is the reason we need to make movies about our engineering achievements, about our spectacular scientists, so that people can believe that these scientists can and will be respected in this country, and there's a future for them.
That's the reason probably why you were the best possible person to have directed this film, because you speak about it possibly, in the best possible way, and also because rocket science, so to speak, if I have to just use colloquially that term, that's something that comes across. But do you think the stuff that you just said, do you think as a movie maker, as a filmmaker, the need to capitalize on the international market and also an international platform is immense, and that needs to be done from films that are coming in from the country, whether it is a world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival? These things are very, very important. Do you think that?
Yes, because India is not known for the kind of films that we should be known for. Even at Cannes or any other thing, we're just trying to show the struggles in this country. It's true, it does exist. It's not the only thing that we're capable of, And so if you tell them that there's a space story from India, they're like, okay. And I don't want that. I don't want them to snigger about it. So we need, as filmmakers and storytellers and funders, we need to invest that kind of time and money into researching these subjects. We need to know what a metaverse is, or what 3.0 is, why the youngest billionaires from India are from the small towns like Lucknow and Jhansi, why they're worth $15.2 billion, and why there are more fans for those people than for actors. We need to know that, and that is when we truly understand what India is all about. And that has to happen.
10 minutes standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. Did you expect that?
So let me be brutally honest, and it doesn't mean that I'm dishonest at other times, but that 10-minute standing ovation was a relief for me, but it was for actually Dr. Nambi Narayanan. You know, they saw the film, they were not clapping for Maddie's, I don't know what they were clapping for me, but they were surely clapping for the achievements that Dr. Nambi Narayanan needs to be sung about, and on that front, I think as a team we succeeded.
And do you think that astonishment also was there? Because like you just said during the course of this interview, that not many people knew.
Yeah, absolutely. And they too, you know, when they saw it in France or in UK, they're overwhelmed. They're like, what? How? We didn't know. And they not knowing is okay. But India not knowing, I think, is a national disservice.
किसी कुत्ते को मारना हो तो अफवाह फैला दो कि वो पागल है। ठीक उसी तरह किसी इंसान को बर्बाद करना हो तो ये ऐलान कर दो कि वो देशद्रोही है।
Making the film in 3 languages, then of course releasing it in 6. How challenging was that?
Okay. There are many firsts in this film, even if I dare say so myself, that has never been done in any other film before. The first thing is shooting a film in 3 different languages. Each shot was done in English, Hindi and Tamil, and it was live sound over 8 countries depicting 50 years. Secondly, we have shown scientists go from 29 to 79 in this film. And in that process, we have never employed any prosthetics, which means every hair you see, every weight you see, I had my jaw actually broken and twisted to make my teeth look like Dr. Nambi Narayanan. And it's a horrifying sight. But I got it back, and in the process learned how teeth make you look younger.
Wow.
How you can take care of your hair despite all the brutal processes that you put it through. How you can put on weight and lose weight within 15 days and make it count. And so all that research had been done, has been used, and has been proved. The reason we did that actually was I didn't want any aspect of this film to sound false. So if you were watching this film and you saw somebody with a false mustache or a padding, then you will start taking everything about that film with a pinch of salt. No Hollywood film has done this. But I couldn't afford people to think that there was something false about this film, because everything we've shown in the film is absolutely true. The only thing I said, like I said earlier, we've concised time and space and mixed characters up so that we can enhance the speed of storytelling.
Yeah.
But that apart, everything you see is true.
And since we are on languages, what do you make of this language war? And it will not just go away from the film industry, just stick to the film industry. Why suddenly? You know, the films are doing well, it's great for the industry.
I think we need to have news some way or the other, and there's no harm in that. I think it's not a harmful sort of a news to if truth be told, though, it's RRR and it's Bahubali and it's Pushpa and KGF that have done well, better than Hindi films. But there are a vast number of films that have not done well in the same period of time. So to say that all South Indian films are beating Hindi films is not true. At the same time, all Hindi films are not disasters. We've got some great hits this year, from Gangubai to Kashmir Files to Bhool Bhulaiyaa right now, which are also done. I think the discerning audience, and that to the well-trained audience post-COVID era, have decided that they want to see commitment when you tell a story. So one thing that is common to all these films that have done really well is you have extraordinary actors who have given their life for the film. None of that has been a quick turnaround film, be it RRR or KGF or Pushpa or Kashmir Files. They had great performances and people who are committed to that storytelling. And for me, that's encouraging.
ஏற்பாடெல்லாம் பலமா தான் இருக்கு. இதுக்கு பலன் இருந்தா சரி.
இந்த இன்டர்வியூனால எந்த பலனும் இல்லைன்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா நீங்க எதுக்காக வந்தீங்க?
நான் ஏன் வந்தேனா? எனக்கு நடந்தது மறுபடியும் இந்த நாட்டில் வேற யாருக்கும் நடக்கக்கூடாது.
Coming back to Madhavan, the actor, always taking that 2 to 3 years of a break to actually get that story that really excites you, whether it is a breathe or a decouple for that matter. And then there is, of course, Rocketry. But that Rocketry is your baby. Is it going to continue so that you have your personal time, your family time?
See, the thing is, I do it because I don't have a six-pack, nor can I dance like a Hrithik Roshan or fight like Mr. Salman Khan. But I realized that my discerning audience is also evolving, okay? To be aspirational for them, they need to see an aspect of me that they can actually admire. There's no point in going to the film of any actor and having a condescending point of view. So if I were to dance and I realized that Dance India Dance on television has better dancers who do one take and do things that I can't imagine in my wildest dreams, hence that post about dancing and Saddi Gali. I won't have anything to sell. So I need to sell what I'm good at, and that is why I do the research. I need to find out, I need to be ahead of the curve of the youngsters who are actually just about tolerating our ignorance and stupidity as filmmakers. And so hopefully that will be the reason that I take the breaks, and I hope that the breaks are smaller, because I feel happiest when I'm in front of the camera, but I don't see that happening too often.
Okay, last thing. Do you know what else are you good at? You get good at social media. People really lap it up. And I just saw that recent post that you addressed your wife to, and you said this is how you're going to look when you're old. You know, talking about your wife, Sarita, there was a time when you've gone on record and said that you were asked to not talk about your marriage. So from then to now, how have things evolved in the industry for actors, for people who are associated? Do you see that changing so that people,
it's become a lot more challenging now than ever before. I think, comparisons, star kids, popularity on the internet, needing validation ever so often, all that, including my son, who's a swimmer and gets recognized a lot more because of the fact that he's my son.
And he says that too.
Yes, he does, and I'm glad he understands that. But it's very difficult for a child of his age, or I'm going to say child, but a young man of his age, to differentiate between success and fame. And as a father, I need to keep cautioning him on that front. So it's not become any easier, and relationships have broken over a period of time because they're not able to sustain this desperate need for validation at all times. We as a nation, I think, need to step back a little. We need to be giving a little more, because I don't think we can survive at the pace that we're hustling down and rattling down the path here, and we're not going to find solace over there. So I think as actors, as celebrities, we need to start talking about yoga that India has, as a soft power, about meditation. Do you know that the Mangal mission happened at a much cheaper cost and successful in the very first attempt because of the Indian almanac, because we used the Panchang. Panchang, which is the most accurate celestial map known to man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's right. So these are the things we need to rely on to slow down, I think, the pace at which we're hurtling down, and for actors and for marriages and for youngsters, this is very important.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Madhavan, for doing
Appreciate
this,
that.
and all the best for Rocketry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much.